79th anniversary of our independence, we decided here at Ghaut to highlight and to celebrate some of our very own persons who would have contributed not only to Ghaut, but to the country and by extension to the nation at large over the past years. And so what we decided to do is to launch an exhibition on these very persons, including our national hero, the Dr. Honorable Simeon Daniel, who was the first premier of Nevis and also came from this village of Ghaut. Ghaut is a small, tiny village tucked away in the hills, but it boasts a lot of talent and a lot of distinguished persons. And so, in an effort not only to maintain the memories of these people and also others who would have contributed, because not all the persons who we are highlighting here are past, we wanted to celebrate their contributions that they have made. So with us, and in the pictures you have taken, you would have seen the home where Dr. Simeon Daniel was born, and we have highlighted the works of some of the persons here from the village. The handicrafts that you saw in the corner, those were done by Miss Clara Smitten, and she has a small business place at the Artisan Village. And persons, if you're interested in what you see there, I'm happy to tell you can go there and get some of this stuff as well. She not only is a small business person, but if you see from what she has, she's a poet, and she has also written a small book. We have other persons as well. We celebrate the contributions of young persons who would have made an impact, and we want others to know that they too can do the same thing. We have the 2012 Culturama Queen is from this very village, Miss Delicia Smitten. And then we also have Mr. Suki Shamari Mitchell, who is from Ghaut, and we know that Suki was the reigning Culturama and Federal Junior Calypsonian for a number of years. All right? Added to those, Ghaut have rich culture, rich history of persons who have participated in culture. You had the hummingbird string band that came from Ghaut, and you have persons like Thunder Hamilton, Alan Dad's Liebert, who were fifers in the hummingbird string band. Mr. Liebert was also the co-founder of the string band with Mr. Wilfred Hammy Hamilton. And then we boast of Miss Jubry, who we know participated in so many cultural troupes and was active in dances, creating dances and teaching dances like the Japanese girls and other things here in the village of Ghaut. Added to the talent that we have here, you will have seen the frame pictures, and those were created by Tafari, Noel, Shaw, and Liebert, and they are very beautiful. And they too, you can get copies of those if you want. You see them and you want to purchase them, just contact Mr. Liebert, Tafari, and you'll be able to get your own copies. He sells them. So, and the pictures are very nice. We also have the remembrance of other persons. We had principals who would have come from Nevis. We have teacher Norley Smitten, who is now the actual principal at the St. Thomas's Primary School. We have Reverend Dawn Jeffers, who was not only a principal herself, but also a pastor, a reverend, and actually founded the Faith in Christ Ministries. And then we celebrated those persons of all the accents, who would have done work in the village. Mr. Ernest Smitten was a mountaineer, and he helped, I don't know if young person will know of the fish pots. He was one of the persons who go to the mountain, cut the sticks that they use to make the fish pots, and then in all the days when they're making the fishing boats, that head piece of wood that they use at the top of the boat. He used to cut those out for the fishermen and so on, and they would come to the village and collect their stuff for the fishing boats and for the fish pots. And I don't know if we still have village shops, given that they have supermarkets, but we have Miss Marion Leibel here, who had a village shop, one of the earlier village shops in the village, and we know the help that those village shops offered to persons in the villages. Especially in village at Banzo, where you couldn't go, you didn't have access to town so often. And so I can remember even early mornings when you got up and you didn't have any cheese to eat the bread, you would run go by the shop and get a piece of cheese and all that. And so we just wanted to celebrate them and what they would have done. Before I close, I want to say thanks to all those persons who would have contributed. As you see, persons would have loaned us their stuff to put on display, and so we are very grateful for that. And I say thank you to all those persons. I'm not going to name because other times, oh, and I'm forgetting our boxer. We have persons in sports, I didn't miss those. Our boxer, Roosevelt Chapman, Caribbean Apple, who was engaged in boxing a long time ago. Boxing was a very active sport here in Ghaut and in Nevis at large. And then Mr. Greenaway had a display of myself as a netballer with the captain in the West Indies netball team in 1999. But we are grateful for this and the contributions that persons would have made. If they didn't loan us the stuff that we have here, this display would not have been possible. And so I want to say thank you to them. I want to also thank Mrs. Greenaway, who was also instrumental. She was the one who, along with me, was able to put this display together. And I have to say this with some mixed feelings, because this exhibition was something we've been planning for a while. And Mr. Chesley Pharaoh Davis would have started some groundwork in getting this exhibition off. But he's not with us today, but we still want to remember his contributions. Even the contributions that we got from the NCDF, some of them were work that Mr. Davis would have archived. And so we want to remember him at this time and register our thanks posthumously. And also, the decor that you saw here, the curtains and so on, we also want to thank Ms. Leandel Cornelius, who is part of our team in helping to bring this all together. And we want to say thank you to you, Mr. Evelyn, for accommodating us this morning. Thank you.